this is the high pressure fuel pump. So this is the fuel pipe that goes into the injector, and this is kind of getting rounded here on this nut. And let's see if we can make that a little better. There's a new fuel pipe, nice and shiny, brand new nuts. So when we need to bleed it, should be a little bit easier. And the fact that it's shiny will go faster. So the next project will be to change the impeller in the water pump for the engine. Like I said before, this is our 6th year with the boat, and we've never changed it. Seems to work okay at this point, but it's good preventative maintenance. So we'll go ahead and do that. Still pliable, but we'll change it.
Oh, it's on the black toolbox underneath that foam.
Alright, so we went ahead and put a glove over the open water pump just so there aren't any spiders or bugs climbing in there while it's open. Next step is going to be to check the zinc that goes in this port. We changed that about 3 years ago. Inspect it and see how that looks. Got the zinc out. Looks pretty solid. Doesn't look like it's dissolved at all. Just go ahead and clean it up a bit. Put it back in. Go ahead and stuff the rag in there again to make sure no critters crawl in there.
Right?
Well, it's big on one side and small on the other, and that's what causes the pump. Make sure it's going the right way. It's all symmetrical, so should be okie dokie to go anyway.
nuts.
Also today we sandblasted the zinc cover and the zinc. We replaced the zinc, I think it was 3 years ago. And hardly any dissolving of the zinc at all. Go ahead and install that. Ta-da! Well, I'm going to start the engine for the first time this spring. Going to have to go up and open up the fuel valve on top of the fuel tank. Prime it and start it. Go ahead and open the valve so that we can get fuel out of the tank. Make sure the throttle's out. Engine is in neutral. Keys in. Go ahead and start priming. So with the fuel tank valve open, free flow of fuel through the priming pump up into the lift valve or the lift pump. From the lift pump it'll go into the secondary filter, and the secondary filter into the high pressure pump, then up into the injector. So I will start priming right after the secondary filter to see if I can get fuel up to here without having to take apart all the other pieces. I expect fuel to come out and leak, so I'm going to be sure to capture that with some rags. Go ahead and crack that. And do some priming. So that looks like that's pretty good. Go ahead and tighten that up. Make sure we don't have fuel. Keep everything clean. So it appears, just from a little bit of priming the prime bulb, we got plenty of fuel through the system up to here. So the next step is I'm going to crack the high pressure fuel pipe just before the injector and crank the engine until we get no air. Now I expect to have at least one big slug of air in the system because I replaced the pipe. Start out doing this by hand. Starting to see a little bit of fuel coming out. Tighten that up and see if that's enough. Usually doesn't work that well on the first try. coming out the exhaust.